We're going to be diving into this game, and as we were talking about Roshan a little bit, Lemon, I do want to make mention of Light Gaming. I think some of their identity that we're seeing at least a little bit of is perhaps a little bit of that tank-centric play, and that's why you're seeing Roshan getting very aggressive. But now, pulling away from that, this is a new one. Triple DPS coming out from them, trying to play into Unai Sombra here yet again, but playing against Bazzi as well as NoSmite on the field for them as well.
But I love that also Naori mentioned that NoSmite might not be starting, and here he is doing that on map 1 for BLG on that Hammond. It's the 3 DPS. Oh, the shots from Bazzi too. So both of those players, those substitutes who only saw their first appearance last week, are clearly shining bright in this first map of Busan.
This first fight was all Bazzi. It seemed BLG. You know, they've given us some 3-2-1 looks. They've given us a few different styles. Bunker as another one. But I think when BLG is coming in and playing Bazzi, you're going to expect the Widow. You want to see the Widow. And that's exactly the reason why that's the case. Now it's just all about maintaining this control here. Night God cannot have any value with this pick if Bazzi's on the field.
And B612 to the Moira is an important swap to take a little bit more of this poke damage. You're going to need the healing to make up for it. But you can't also heal through the headshots of Bazzi, as he's getting a few body shots into the Pharmacy, trying to take them down. Light Gaming still need to regain control of this map to get that cap over. As BLG coming up onto some ultimates, it will be Akuma with the EMP, but unfortunately, he dies with it. It's half the team of BLG missing as they're trying to regroup, and Light Gaming will start to pressure that point.
Light Gaming can actually get the flip here, but BLG, as they're waiting for NoSmite to be the person to kind of go forward and be able to put the control down for them, they still have basically everything they need to actually get the flip themselves. Light Gaming have somewhat of a defensible, I guess you could say, in the form of Coalescence, but Unai looking for he didn't even kill Shy there.
4-man EMP from Unai. Yakumo trades EMP too, but I didn't see really it hit that many people from Light Gaming. Is still in control of Light Gaming as Sentry is going to start that Valkyrie. Missing their Brigida, they'll need the extra resources to stabilize on this point. Nice sleep, and then headshot from Bazzi. Almost finishes off Sentry, who finds some cover. But BLG, free space for them. Step onto the point, flip it over. In Light Gaming, all that hard work, and then they got to do it again.
And it's going to get harder too here because you kind of need the EMP or a hack at least onto NoSmite to be able to shut him down. Otherwise, you're trying to force the pressure on the backline, and Bazzi is not giving anything away. So BLG building into a sound barrier now here as well to be able to have an answer for things coming their way shortly, one of which is the barrage from Night God.
Light Gaming gonna drop those mines, kind of seal off the supports, but there was way too many back there. He actually gets finished off. Meanwhile, BLG are missing supports. It's a nice stick from Shy to stabilize those numbers as Light Gaming slowly taking back the point. You can see NoSmite was trying to deny it, but he's also gone. As it's back and forth, surprisingly, on a map where you can stall and play LOS forever. Light Gaming now wanna try close the gap in the score.
I imagine BLG, they're going to want to have Mika actually holding on to this sound barrier for a little bit longer, apply the nano boost early, wait for Unai to go for the EMP, Coalescence follow-up likely, and then go for the full counter punch. You engage the sound barrier, you engage the EMP in a counter, and pivot immediately, look for the kill onto Roshan and go from there.
It's EMP to EMP next fight, but a barrier from Mika is what can give BLG that advantage. The Coalescence giving that initial pressure here from B612, allowing that initial dive to go through, not having too much effect besides that. Light Gaming pretty chilling right now. This Night God is going to be one with the barrage. EMP is dropped first, actually from both sides equally, but the barrier from Mika is what saves BLG, keeps them stable. Shy with two, a 2-for-1 trade in fact, is what's going to bring BLG at an advantage. Bazzi with the covering fire in the back line will allow BLG to take that back, Light Gaming have 10 seconds to fight back.
They got to jump onto point as well. Night God going to be blowing blinks and probably force a recall early as he's already getting pressured. So now it's up to the Lucio here. Sentry trying to dive in.
BLG have the vision, they have the power. Light Gaming get hit with the stick. Shy has been the one to watch for this team. The Tracer God is not stopped from a Sombra. He's not stopped from a Brigida. Nothing can stop this man, and he will not die. Putting the team on his back. It's going to be 100 to 85 for BLG to start this round.
And despite NoSmite and Bazzi coming in and starting these OWL players, these really high tier players, still, Light Gaming putting 85% on the board and being able to stabilize it for a few fights there, I think is certainly commendable, especially given their performance so far in this group. However, they still need to kind of step things up. They need to be able to deal with Bozzy in the backline. They're allowing him to have basically way too much freedom in terms of his positioning, just sitting back there. Even the Ana is back there as well, Coldest. And we've talked about Coldest prior to this, how Coldest is one of those players that you speak of in terms of like even like Molly and everything, where this is one of the best flex supports in this region. And if you allow those two together to have freedom in the backline with no pressure, BLG is going to win so many fights because of that alone.
That initial Widow duel where you said Bozzy would be such a terrifying Widowmaker, and I believed you right away. Not that you ever lie to me, only sometimes. But Huey is
sometimes.
It's only sometimes. At least not about this. Huey takes an initial body shot, but he's also kind of a little bit paranoid. You know, he's not seeing ghosts, but he's looking for one. Yakumo is going to be the one who's could be contesting him, and also Night God, as Bozzy is going to fall to that. And no mercy, surprisingly, when you're running this Widowmaker, which could give some forgiveness, as BLG is not running that, but Sentry will be the one that could go for a Resurrect if Huey's does lose that Widowmaker duel. That first cap will go through to Light Gaming.
So they're in control for now. However, Light Gaming, as this fight, if it ever a fight dissolves or devolves rather, you'll see Bilibili actually come out ahead. They have that scrappy brawl characteristic in this composition where they can take control. So unless Light Gaming get control of a fight very early on and can kind of gauge things from there, they will lose a fight over time, and BLG should be able to take over.
Now, Light Gaming with this Roadhog, this Halt and Hook, more stationary setup on the point, but where your Pharah and your Widowmaker are going to control the space in the middle of the map. You haven't seen Light Gaming move out of this setup. Bilibili going to try and run this over, use their own tanks of the Hammond, and maybe the Sombra to follow up and break this setup. It's been hard so far, especially when Huey is getting a little bit more of this these Widowmaker duels.
So Light Gaming hanging in there, 50% already on the board, and this actually has just been such a good answer for dealing with No Smite solo tank on the Hammond to just shut him down.
A little bit of an EMP from Yakumo. I think it only hit Yunai, and the finish or the follow-up wasn't there. As Light Gaming at 60+%, again, it's so hard for BLG to get onto this point, and a whole hog's gonna push them through as he's staring into the face of mines that could be finishing off, or Shy with a nano could also be terrifying, as maybe with a few pigs taking down the Roadhog, as a lot of that frontline pressure gone. No Smite going after the supports. Didn't get that finish off of the Mercy, which he should have, and Huey's with 2. Gets those numbers back for Light Gaming. They recap the point, and BLG could be potentially forced to a round 3.
Yeah, that was actually a weird situation for No Smite to be in. I mean, you get the pile driver there, you might actually kill off 2 targets solo and roll out and give your team a shot at being able to jump back into the fight quickly, backed by Bozzy with a lot of freedom like we saw in that first round. Now, though, engaging here, Yakumo's already down.
Oh, there's Light Gaming using everything they have. The barrage, the supercharger, Sentry is missing. You only have Ana heals. Holding onto that nano no longer. You have no supports left for Light Gaming. This is BLG's chance to buy themselves another life, and Shy leads the way for a 2-for-1. Bozzy with the cleanup at 2 HP. BLG just barely holding on, Heurix.
Yeah, still an uphill climb here for them. Absolutely. Light Gaming, they've done such a good job of getting ahead. And I think a big reason, again, I'm going to reiterate, is the fact that they've kind of shut down this Hammond. No Smite doesn't have as much ability to just jump in and dive in, because Roshan and Yunai can control him. Same thing with B612 on the Ana. They can lock that character down and basically force BLG to play a little bit more defensively, because they can't push that space and control it as easily this time around.
Bozzy's trying to get the right angle, but Heurix is so good at hiding. He even has the Orisa shield, and what a hook from Yunai! One support missing from either side. Now the Anas, the sole survivors, B612 using that nano. Light Gaming trying to take this one back. Yunai has a whole hog, and he's gonna push everyone away, but Shy shuts him down with a pulse bomb, looking for the third! But against a Widowmaker, and actually 2 snipers in his face, Shy, so confident, will drop to the arrow. Light Gaming still in firm control. They have the numbers now, just have to clean things up. Yakumo did go for an EMP. It only hits 3. And Light Gaming are unfazed Night God continuing to find shots. It's the double sniper of Light Gaming that makes them just so untouchable. Huey's, we really thought Bozzy was going to be the one who stands tall in this Widowmaker duel, but Huey's has been so impressive so far. As finally this round will end, the cleanup goes through, and we will go to round 3 of Busan.
And this is surprising too, because as we've talked about kind of all season long, BLG is supposed to be this team, especially now that they have kind of integrated these two-way players that was supposed to be able to easily just slide their way on into the playoff picture, move through, have a deep run there as well. And Light Gaming has been the team that has been struggling coming into this the season. You know, we even saw them in Land Story. They struggled to even get a series win rather in Land Story groups, but they fell out 0-4 in that tournament, not even making it into the playoffs. But they have definitely figured things out here, I think, to at least a degree. And you're seeing BLG adapt to this. Now they're going to go over to the double sniper, actually going for a bunker setup themselves, looking to see if they can kind of bounce back from what we saw last week, looking for a little bit more coordination on those setups. But otherwise, we're getting a mirror on both sides trying to deal with Light Gaming.
Oh, Bozzy, okay. He's definitely trying to take back the Widowmaker duel, but at least BLG this time are running a Mercy, so they have that initial pick. Forgiveness, halt and hook. Fortifies, Unite doesn't get the hook. Bozzy wins the second Widowmaker duel, as now this buys BLG some space. They can put their snipers forward, start aiming those shots, and not only on the high ground, but into the doorway where Light Gaming are coming from. Bozzy gets the cap, and BLG can hold their halt and hook set up at the door.
And I already can't wait for Kadalis versus Bozzy.
Oh, no.
These two players are insane on the Widowmaker. Bozzy finds another one. Huey's 3 deaths. He can't even get into the point. He can't fight at all. Bozzy has had him locked down this entire round here on Mecha Base, and because of that, almost alone, BLG can easily pulled out and with control, because 65 advantage like that, shutting out a Widowmaker is huge.
Oh, Roshando takes care of no smite. You have no shield for BLG. That has to be a quick disengage, give up that space. Do they hold the high ground? Do they go towards the point? Bozzy with 2. Shuts down the Mercy. Again, a ton of healing gone for Light Gaming. They can't be messing around, and he's playing hide and go seek. But now with the shield of the Orisa standing in his way, Bozzy won't be able to pressure this point. He can continue to get picks, which will allow BLG to maybe take this back, and it's the whole hog, the nano. So much power coming from this team. Huey's, though, takes care of Bozzy. No Widowmakers left. The double sniper looking so strong for BLG, but it's the halt and hook, the Roadhog of Yakumo, that holds on to the point for BLG.
And I think that's the best way to have it happen. But there it is, the dueling dragons from opposing sides here, looking for cleanup. Light Gaming still is in this fight. BLG still need to get control, and finally they do flip the point.
Mika died, and then Sentry stays alive for Light Gaming. They will have the resources for the moment to try and fight this back, and you should not be losing that duel. But I'll forgive you, because Mercy has a small hitbox. But it's up to BLG to see how they can hold on to this point. Light Gaming with that supercharger, they have a wall standing in their way. They'll have to reposition, supercharger both sides. Bozzy wins that Widow duel again. You have 2 snipers to worry about. You also have to keep your eye on Shy and Night God. But that high ground advantage, Bozzy with the headshot. He's nasty today.
It's almost made easy for him, though, because of the front line. I mean, No Smite and Yakumo are playing so well together right now that all the action is forward. And they're also doing so well to control as well, where targets are locked down. I mean, they're not moving in a lot of cases, or they're moving in static directions as they're getting pulled. So Bozzy can take those easy shots and find headshots consistently. I wouldn't be surprised if he's at over 15 headshots easy in this specific round here on Mecha Base alone.
Last chance for Light Gaming to take back this point, 96+%. The Dragon buys them some space, but the hook from Unai gets one sniper out, but Light Gaming no longer have a shield. Sentry's gonna maybe go for that resurrect. Valkyrie in the sky, more focused on healing the rest of the team. Maybe the cooldown not ready, but BLG still have a shield. They still have setups. It's up to the snipers to see who can turn the tides of this ocean on Busan. Coldest is out. The sniper duel from Bozzy is won currently, but the control could go either way. The Dragon's not going to find anyone. They're stepping off at the point. You almost gave me a heart attack, Light Gaming. Don't do this to me. BLG using the whole hog. They break down the shield. They have the Valkyrie. BLG looking good.
It looks like Bozzy actually did claim that first tank, and that opened things up. Unai fell right after, and BLG actually stabilizing here, just looking for those last kills. And that is it. You heard it here first. If Bozzy's alive, the dream is alive. They take it.
Whew. That is incredible. Going to the round 3. Let's bring back our expert analyst, Naori. That was impressive. The snipers from both sides. Who impressed you the most?
Bozzy. Like, I am so glad that I was wrong about Bozzy and NoSmite potentially not seeing too much playtime. They really performed, particularly on that last map. Bozzy, like, we saw the Widow come out on the first couple of maps, and when he was there, he was applying pressure, he was doing his job, but the picks weren't super clean. On that last map, like, he awakened something within himself and just absolutely destroyed. Not only was he consistently winning the sniper battle against Heurix on the Widowmaker, but he was also winning against the Hanzo as well. He just, like, kills both of them and carries on with his life. He's really performing so well here. I really enjoyed seeing the mirror composition on Mecha Base, and we kind of highlighted on the desk how Bilibili's bunker wasn't to, like, the best one of their compositions.
Yeah.
But they're really looking a lot cleaner right now, and I think that would definitely be augmented by having NoSmite on that Orisa doing so much work. And of course, Bozzy's Widow, the double sniper bunker, it worked out so perfectly for them. I was actually going to make a note about how Unai's Hog was terrifying. And then we saw the reverse, and it was like, okay, so that's what a terrifying Roadhog looks like. I mean, these guys really, that first map was like, wishy-washy. And then Bilibili, like, they just brought it back so hard on the last 2 maps.
And I think a big turning point for BLG specifically has been the fact that they have just looked that solid now, at least on their bunker. And those combos between the halt hooks have looked a lot more fluid for them. They're definitely being able to manage that front line, which has opened things up in a big way for Bozzy.
Well, it is 1-0 for BLG. Welcome back, everybody. BLG are up 1-0 over Light Gaming. The future is bright. We're heading to Volskaya to see if Light Gaming can tie the game.
Yeah, we've had a couple of subs going through as well. BLG have subbed out both of their two-way players on this map here of Volskaya, and instead now are playing with Winter and Over, as opposed to Bozzy and NoSmite. So perhaps not only just the roster swap up, but also a comp swap in our midst as well. Given the fact that those players are out, it's possible here that we do see a little bit more of that 3-2-1 action for BLG, but either way, BLG with this swap, especially given what we saw from Bozzy, it's like got some question marks on my brain because of just how insane Bozzy was in that last map.
And you would think maybe Volskaya is like kind of lends to the double sniper, and Bozzy really brought that to the table. But Winter's like the ultimate flex DPS, right? Tracer, Genji, Pharah. And I see somebody up into the sky. Let's see who that is. It is Night God versus Winter. There we go. So we'll see who will be starting off that initial pick, because it's Shy versus Huey. So very surprising to see that Widowmaker role being given to someone else.
Yeah, and Shy, he can Widow, don't get me wrong. I mean,
for
certainly not a good first note to be dying out like that early, but he definitely can Widow. So let's give him a moment so he can pop back off. It's fine. But now, though, Night God, you can see his position. It's so hard to get through that doorway now if he's going to be up over the top, because you have to extend past that doorway if you're going to be able to put any sights on him.
Oh, he really wants that Widowmaker kill, and interesting approach, as maybe Light Gaming need to kind of bring themselves together. The first take's about to go through for BLG. Over is hacked. They could finish off that kill, but you could see that Light Gaming clearly not coming together. They allowed that first take to go through with really nobody missing. BLG about to look for the second. The Orisa shield doesn't have a dent in it until Roshan is going to bowl right on through.
Oh, there's the EMP coming in from Light Gaming. Only catches Yakumo, which is fine. They already used the hook, if I'm not mistaken. So now, though, Light Gaming still cleaning up. Although we could see BLG coming back in. Well, maybe not, as Light Gaming, they do indeed wind up getting the kills that they need. Still 2 ticks, though, on the board for BLG, as this fight has been devolved now for quite some time. It has been broken down for like 20 seconds. So 2:20 on the clock here, Lemon, and BLG not with an ultimate to play around with. Really have to rely on the halt hook for this next fight.
They like gaming with this type of composition they have. They could be playing farther back. Night God played way too was in their spawn while BLG were capping their first and second tick. Now 2 minutes for BLG. Again, it's pretty slow going with the Orisa Hog. Now they're going towards the left. Some initial shots from Shy. He's trying to pressure down that Pharmacy, who are getting ready with that Valkyrie. Again, you have to dodge those Halton hooks. You have to dodge Shy too. BLG get their toe on the point. Shy. Oh, that was scary though. Oh, and the halt and hook catches Sentry mid-Valkyrie. BLG now with that advantage. Not only is there no Mercy, there's no Widowmaker to contest Shy, who just single-handedly takes care of the supports. And that is that first tick, or the first point, going to BLG.
I told you he can Widow. You just gotta, come on, just give him a little bit and he'll warm up. It's fine. So BLG now going forward with some momentum here. Light Gaming with nothing to use defensively. BLG gonna be playing off of this supercharger, trying to get that damage boost into Winter, into Shy as well, so that they can actually enable those DPS players to start getting picks even the barrage.
No Orisa, free hooks for Yakumo, and a whole hog, the 6 sleep from B612 to at least cancel that ultimate. Still not enough members of Light Gaming to keep this defense going, and alas, Winter Storm from above and BLG. Holy cow! Maybe that's a speed run.
BLG just kind of waltzed right on through there. It was just that one devolved fight that broke down early on, and they kind of stuck in that one, allowed themselves to basically kind of stick in there with 1 or 2 players for a little bit too long. They should have pulled out early so that they could regroup and push back in. But either way, it worked really well on their next push. We saw the Valk get taken out, as well as the Widow Duo 1 in their favor, and then you push with momentum. Defensively, there was just no option, so there was simply no winning that fight for the defense. Now, though, we are going to be going forward with a swap, and I think defensively you wouldn't be surprised again to see a sniper come out from BLG, and Shy on point A was pretty solid.
I think also how the defense crumbled is Roshan is getting his shield broken, and he's getting a lot more pressure. We saw this also on Mecha Base. The whole reason that last and final fight went in BLG's way was due to Roshan shield breaking, the hook going through, and without Narissa, it's the same thing as you were in a 3-3. As soon as you're Ryan, as soon as your main tank, your shield provider is dead, that fight is dead. And that you know that BLG's focus is in the right place. Can't say the same for Light Gaming.
Yeah, I think, again, something to certainly highlight at the moment would be the fact that despite the changing of the guard in the main tank position, still those halt hooks are coming in quite fluidly at the moment for BLG. And this was a concern for us coming into this matchup, and BLG has definitely addressed that concern, not only with No Smite at the helm, but also with Over subbing in here as well, the standard main tank for this team outside of the two-way player. So again, we'll be seeing that combo coming into effect on their defense here. And once again, Shy versus Heurix.
And that high ground setup from BLG has been scouted out. How are the snipers going to take angles around this? There's very little shield break with this, so you're going to see a Hanzo maybe to the left and a Widow to the right, force BLG to think about how Mika's going to be playing, and there's a halt hook, and perfect, you got Roshan. But a key technical here for the Orisa is to hold that fortify so you do not get hooked. You should be able to hold that for that. But Shy with 2, Yakumo pops off, BLG untouchable.
Yakumo and Over are looking so good together. I can't even say it enough at this point, but now we'll see BLG, because of the fact that they're playing so well and playing so fluidly with those combos and playing off of each other. The rotations are very concise as well, where they're really kind of at each other's hips. Coldest is just that much more effective because he's not taking that pressure. Shy isn't taking that pressure. It's exactly what we saw back in Busan Sanctum.
Another halt hook. Halt hook. Easy money. BLG already in a 6 versus 5, moving forward, looking for more. Yakumo could be taking out more. Already breaking down the shield, and you have the biotic grenades from Coldest that, due to that high ground positioning, can lob it over the shield. So this is going to be tough for Light Gaming to keep pushing with this Orisa halt hook if they're not able to execute.
Yeah, I think this really comes down to exactly what you said, easy money. I mean, BLG just making this look like it's such a simple process. You get the halt, you get the hook, you get the fight. And even off of that first pick, you can see they're quickly rotating over, dropping the shield low so that Yakumo can drop, follow up with some more pressure in the face of Roshan after they get that initial pick. So BLG playing really, really well. They know the rotations on this map. They're looking probably as good as we've ever seen them.
Halt and hook, and they give the nano over to Unite to just make sure that he survives, but can't really do more except break a shield. And Light Gaming under fire. Their backline, Winter is there. He has Barrage. Doesn't even need it. 2 kills, make it 3. The man is unstoppable. This is fantastic play, and even saw at the beginning, Winter didn't expose himself until Light Gaming advanced forward. Now a minute 30 left on the clock. Light Gaming have the ultimates, but can they keep themselves composed to make it happen?
They've really struggled coming in from the low ground, taking that same approach every single time, really to no progress at all on their side. They have to be able to get in, win that Widow duel, and then try to get that BLG defense off of the high ground as best they can. Maybe even see if they can find a pick elsewhere onto someone like Mika, onto someone like Winter instead, but they have just had no luck at all so far.
They just can't get any line of sight onto Winter. Like I said, he hides himself until Light Gaming have shifted their focus onto the front line. There's now a whole hog from Light Gaming, but not dealing with his opposition. Could have canceled it with either a sleep or a hook, and now finds himself dead as BLG up in numbers. Actually, Light Gaming with the Resurrect have the advantage now, as Roshan with the Supercharger, extra damage, but Winter is in your backline with Barrage. What do? You can see now it's up to the on of Coldest, or not Coldest, sorry, B612 was trying to put shots and just normal vanilla pressure into him, but Winter is still alive. He barely ever drops because of his positioning, as Widows now no longer are going to affect the Fars or anyone in that matter, as Light Gaming, their last couple seconds, Roshan receives the nano to survive, and there is that last barrage, dip, dive, and dodge. If you can dodge a barrage, you can dodge anything. Sentry is now joining the rest of the team, and that's their final chance, or they're going to be full health and dropping 0-2 to BLG.
Oh, it looks like BLG, they're going to be able to clean this up here. And what a hold, on top of the fact that they just destroyed, demolished Light Gaming on the attack as well, to be able to then get that first point hold. Really, really solid play from their DPS, making good rotations. You saw Winter playing off of those lines of sight super well as well.
Naori, we're going to bring back our expert analyst. That was very, very one-sided. Light Gaming, what did you think the change had to be for them to find success on their attack?
Oof. I think that they needed to swap off of that bunker. And the main thing is something that you actually pointed out earlier on. The fact that they were consistently coming in on the low ground meant that they always had disadvantage with their hold hook combos. And because of that, they weren't getting any value out of it. Occasionally they were able to get something off, but for the most part, they were consistently on the back foot against BLG. And that was a major issue for them. I would have liked to see them come through with possibly a Genji, Sombra, and a dive. Hopefully, get that EMP off, get the shields out of the way, and then of course you've got the Nano Blade to do a bit of cleanup, particularly against those snipers. A Genji and a Sombra would have been fantastic. So I would have liked to have seen something like that, but unfortunately they did decide to stick on that ultimate. The other thing, or rather on that composition, the other thing to note for BLG was for Winter particularly, so there was a lot of shield break from that Pharah, but on top of that, his positioning and his understanding of the map geometry is insane. We saw that moment where he boosted himself kind of into the enemy snipers and then up over a building and backwards just to have that cover but still be able to fire rockets at the snipers who he had just propelled himself into. He goes for these really ballsy plays, but his understanding of the map makes it that he can get out alive. And I think that that's a massive boon for BLG. Having him on that Pharah is doing a lot of work.
Yeah, I think Light Gaming, they definitely had a couple of approaches. I think you're right. They definitely had the option to go for a dive, just try to break down that bunker. I think the big thing that they were missing, regardless of whether it be a dive or staying on that bunker approach, would have been actually swapping off of the Roadhog and going over to a Diva. That would have allowed them to play that shield trade game. They would have been able to pressure down over his shield and easily push through because of that.
And look at these highlights. It's so incredible that even Shy, when he stepped in over Bazzi, it felt like everything fit the same way. What did you think of these substitutions from BLG? Did you feel like they were still at their peak compared to how they played on Busan, Naori?
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually quite impressed with how well they continued to play, even though they had these swap outs.
Well, we will be heading to a quick break. BLG are up 2-0. It's flawless so far. We'll see if Light Gaming can stay alive. We'll see you soon. BLG are up 2-0 over Light Gaming. And Volskaya wasn't looking too great. But we will be going into a hybrid map to see if Light Gaming have learned from their mistakes and can maybe kind of step up to what they did on Busan, because they looked way better on map 1.
Yeah, they really did. And interestingly enough, that was also against the lineup that BLG was employing with the 2 Owl players. So, I mean, that's kind of crazy to see. And then all of a sudden, they turn around and you're talking about, what was it, like 450 or something like that on the time bank, and then a full hold. Now moving on into King's Row, where this is where you could see even more of that Orisa Hog. You can even see on the right side of your screen, that's already coming your way on the attacking side. And yet again, it's that 2-2-2 split, employing the bunker here for the attacking side. And once again, it's Winter and Shy reprising their roles. Another one again.
He's so nasty with these hooks. Their coordination so good. Already a 6 versus 5, and they didn't even have a fight. Another hook. It's already 100% accuracy. So this guy's definitely flexing on Light Gaming. Could be going for more simple right clicks. Will finish the fight already. BLG, get the point.
And now Bilibili, they're going to go forward. And I mean, that was already an explosive start for them. They're going to continue this approach as they're looking to claim even more. Finally now getting the full cap as Light Gaming, they've got Huey's on the McCree to try to get those flashbangs off, maybe see if you can put in a little bit more pressure onto the shield. But again, you have to wonder maybe if a D.Va would help them out a little bit.
A D.Va to eat these halts. Someone just throw a biotic grenade at him. Looks like they just straight up body blocked him from running back to the rest of his team, and this is what we needed to see. How do you shut down Yakumo? With a D.Va, biotic grenade, the ultimates, and now BLG are okay with maybe losing that member. They had a little bit of space to move towards anyway.
So as it rounds this first corner, a trade going through, but Mika going down means everything's lying on the shoulders of Coldest to make these heals go through. Otherwise, Mika, I mean, they're just going to be waiting for him here. BLG still sitting around that corner, and now finally, Light Gaming coming alive with some combos of their own.
Yeah, that's like twice in a row now. One onto Mika, and now one onto the Widowmaker. So BLG, it's their turn to fight back, but how they're going to get Winter at least in the right position. They will have a little bit more shield break because they're running a Fire instead of the McCree. See how they're going to set this up.
So BLG approaching now. Hanzo, Night God right now, has the Dragon Strike. Oh, sent into the air. There's the Dragon Strike the other way, but Winter, he's already claiming kills.
And that's great. It catches the Ana. He's going for more. He's so aggressive. Yunai should be trying to go for hooks. Night God should be hitting these shots. One last rocket says goodbye to him. And BLG, despite getting hit by a dragon that could have been ugly, Winter is making this uglier.
You could even say he's making it prettier if you want to be, you know, a half, or what is that, glass half full kind of person.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But Light Gaming, they might be able to approach this payload here. Roshan trying to get there, but not going to make it in time.
No! See, that's the trouble with these bunker comps, that you're so slow. It's not like 3-3 Lucio where you can speed in the last 0.0001 meters. So unfortunately, that's just more ult charge to BLG, who used an initial whole hog supercharger for those stagger kills at the beginning. So again, getting halfway towards the end of point C. BLG, bit out of the ultimate economy.
This has still been just like world record pace right now for BLG. Now, oh, almost connecting with that hook. That could have been a massive pick if Yakumo actually landed that, because it would have pulled them actually into the middle of BLG's roster, and Winter getting brought back up. Oh, there's a sleep on the Night God.
That hook to follow up. The exact assassination BLG needed. And now who takes over the high ground is also important. He's going to funnel that dragon right through. Roshan is cut off from the rest, and it still finds two. The barrage followed up with that finds two. The missed position from the dragon. Follow up from Winter. BLG looking down the end of point C. It's been so unstoppable so far. 4 minutes on this time bank. Are you kidding me? Nightguard got slept as he was trying to contest. Easy hook cleanup from Yakumo. Light Gaming coming up with one last nano chance. Yakumo is gonna get his, but Roshan receives it on the defense to keep himself alive. The Dragon separates Yakumo temporarily. Roshan halts him back in. And Light Gaming stabilized for the moment.
Yeah, and for the moment is the important word here, because maybe they'll be able to hold them off, but BLG getting that res there onto Yakumo means that combo is available for them as well yet again. But NightGod diving into the backline. He's found 2 for them already, and it's both supports down.
But Light Gaming have closer spawns. They can keep these numbers up. BLG are not getting that clean fight win. There's a Dragon. Zones off the point. But BLG don't have an Orisa to keep this poke damage going. Nothing's going to be protecting Shy. But he's still maybe hiding to get these picks. And we'll have to wait either way for Over to get back.
Almost caught Shy with the halt hook there, but not going to connect. Now BLG gathering up their resources, getting ready now for this next push. They are now down under 3 minutes as Light Gaming has taken that away from them.
Pretty good halts and hooks from either sides. You're trading a far to Unai. Maybe a resurrect. Oh, Mika gets denied. Night God punching right through. Yakumo catching for that, but I mean the damage is already done without a mercy. A bit of a struggle at the moment. Coldest will have to carry in the healing department for the moment. But Shy with 2. BLG have a big advantage now. Just have to take care of the Ana who's hiding behind the shield. They advance forward. Now only a Roadhog and a Doomfist lays in BLG's way. But it's now been several minutes that they've been hanging out at this area, and they're trying to close this out, Heurix.
Sentry trying to keep the dream alive for them, but he gets taken down as well. And now it's just about whether or not Roshan can extend past his shield and keep this payload locked in place. And for the time being, it's working out for them. But Winter on the outskirts of the fight, focusing down the perimeter. He's getting the kills that they need.
This should be it. You would think it's it. There's nothing protecting Light Gaming anymore. But man, was that an incredible stall. Several minutes of that Orisa being present. They had something protecting them so they could keep onto this cart. Finally, BLG moved forward and they were able to take the fight in their hands.
Still, though, I think Light Gaming was able to get at least something going for themselves to feel more comfortable about their attack now that they're swapping sides here and going for one of their own. But I think, but prior to that, it was really just a steamroll. I mean, we're talking about a team BLG who had just dominated them on the map prior on Volskaya, and now went ahead and did basically the same thing to start out with on King's Row. That explosive start, we saw it start out with the halt hook combo. It pretty much got to the same point on that third point where we saw the same kind of things coming into play, but finally, at least Light Gaming was hitting some of those combos themselves, and Night God actually swapping onto the Doomfist was quite a solid move for them.
Yeah, Unai versus Yakumo on the Roadhog. I really like that Light Gaming looked like they were stepping up because that point got lost way too quickly. And then they started to get some momentum on the point B hold. But for BLG to walk into point C with 4+ minutes to attack is not good for Light Gaming's defense. Now we hope that they can just have a better attack, but just like you said, judging about how Volskaya went, if they go with an Orisa halt hook on the offense, I'm a little bit worried they don't know how to use that playstyle to now keep making the space and then taking it after.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big concern from me as well, and that's a big reason why I would rather see them employ a diva if they're going to go for that, but instead it looks like they're going to keep going with the Orisa Hog and now have to deal with the 3-2-1 from BLG. This is what we've seen a little bit more from them as opposed to the 2-2-2 that we've seen pretty much throughout today. And BLG going to be playing off of Coldest, I think, to a high degree, looking to try to get those biotics in to try to slow down Light Gaming as best they can.
So maybe the Reinhardt could be a better approach because as you get halted up, you can hold up to your shield, maybe try and protect some of your teammates. But the Reinhardt way more susceptible to poke damage. It's harder to regen your shield. So it'll be up to Nightgod and Heurix to just be the ones that break over shield and make the space for Light Gaming to take.
So BLG on the high ground, you can see Shy playing this Zarya, not going to allow Light Gaming to push through and surround them, and that's so important for this 3-2-1 composition as they're taking on this 3 DPS comp with Roshan being the solo tank here. So really good job from Shy to anchor that kind of back point location on the high ground to deny that coverage.
Yeah, it's a little strange to see the Rien and the Zarya from the defense play so far apart. Over gets hit with a biotic. Night God has to figure out, is he wanting to break the shield or does he want to kill Shy? And his focus is alternating between the two. And because he fed so much energy, kept shooting the bubble of Shy without eventually getting that kill, that's an easy laser down. And now with all this energy, he finds two and looking for more. So BLG will be able to stay calm for now.
Yeah, they were trying so hard to get Shy off the high ground that he was just absorbing that pressure and then going behind line of sight, getting that healing. So he was just basically getting free charge, and now he's already generated the Graviton. Sure, there aren't going to be many targets for him to kind of cluster on with that Graviton, but as long as he catches a target or two, a high value one at that, then that will win the fight for them, especially if you can find the Ana here. B612 kind of exposed on the side.
B612 though is ready to give that nano to Night God, who has the barrage, drops down onto the supports, but oh, he got like slept and totally messed up. That was not intended, got hacked from Yakumo, was not able to go for the barrage kill, and his mercy punished in the process. So execution not there for Light Gaming, down by 2, spawns are close, Roshan next to fall.
Oh, Light Gaming, they have Roshan on the high ground, but not so much anymore as they're going to go for the res here. He's still, I believe he actually did fall down, and we'll have to wait to see when it turns, but still, in the meantime, BLG, I mean, they have full control over this fight. Graviton,
they could punish this. Over is so far deep, and the dragon is going to be the one that eats him up, and the EMP makes sure that BLG can't save him. They can't recontest. The first take goes through from Light Gaming, and a grab onto the high ground shuts down not only the barrage, but it's two. He's saving the fight, but also needs to keep contesting. He's relying on his teammates to do that for him. Shy, just like he did on Busan, puts the team on his back. The chiropractor needs to be called, because Shy will not let you get this point.
And now, because they won that fight, Yakuba was able to generate some more charge, and now he's got his EMP coming online, and Light Gaming, you're seeing them swap up the comp. I'm sorry, but it's far too late. 45 seconds remaining. You just don't have enough time to get value. You're going to be in a building phase for the rest of your attack.
Getting on the second tick now, trying to set up, keeping their support safe, but they're not safe from Yakumo's EMP. And as soon as that comes out, no shield for Roshan, no bubbles to help anybody. BLG bring this down to the last 30 seconds where it's potentially a second full hold for them.
Well, to see if they can pull it off. Sound barrier is a huge advantage to have in this next fight. You still have to deal with likely Roshan having that nano boost available, but they can certainly shut it down if Over is a little bit elusive, plays defensively, looks to peel, build into the primal, and then you have the hack from Yakumo to be able to shut Roshan down as well.
B612 needs to use that nano, gives it over to Roshan, but loses Zarya in the process, and they were not able to push forward. BLG staying in a hotel allowed them to keep Light Gaming's attention, kept them at bay, and Light Gaming not able to make a dent in the armor of BLG.
And that right there is a second full hold in a row now for BLG in this third map.
And that's the series. We bring back our expert analyst, Naori. It didn't look like the future is bright for Light Gaming. Another full hold. What did you think about what went wrong there?
Yikes. It's more about what went right for BLG. Shy is so clutch. We saw it earlier on Busan with his Tracer, his ability to get multiple picks in really clutch moments, and we saw it there with that incredible Graviton Surge that somehow actually managed to get two after their Reinhardt had gone down. And in these like 3-2-1 or 3-3 compositions, your main tank is like, when he dies, you usually lose the fight. Not if you have Shy on your team that will grab the 2 of the 3 DPS on the enemy team and just absolutely clutch it out for you. Shy was... Oh, the other thing that I really felt that Light Gaming did wrong was running that heavy DPS composition, because while it can work, you can out-spam the healing from a 3-2-1 or a 3-3 composition. The problem was there wasn't enough focus, and all they were doing was feeding ultimates and feeding Shy charge. And that, like, to be consistently feeding the supports ultimates, because you do a little bit of damage and the supports just heal it right up. And so they are consistently having their ultimates ready, the nano boost ready, the sound barrier ready to go. They always have that no matter what you're throwing at them. And of course, as I mentioned, Shy being high charge, some scary stuff. So the triple DPS, maybe not the best idea for them. The other thing that I wanted to note, Yakumo is kind of winning this hog battle. he's absolutely insane with his hooks. We kind of mentioned it before, but I can't kind of overemphasize it. I'm really impressed that he's like stepped up his game so much between last week and this week.
Yeah, I think together, I mean, Yakumo has been able to really work well with both Over and No Smite, and that's really hard to do, to mesh with two tanks simultaneously, especially in, you know, the same series. And Winter, he looked good on the Pharah. We've seen him 2 maps in a row look good on this pick. Maybe not the exact same performance from Night God. We talked about how, you know, Night God, when they were playing the Pharah themselves, he was kind of giving some of that ult charge over to the supports, giving some of that charge over to the Zarya as well. That chip damage, if you're not able to execute on it, you're not getting those kills. It's so tough. Oh,
Night God got consistently shut down. That barrage got hacked. They invested nano, and then he barrages mid-grab. Maybe didn't expect that to come out, thought he could get shy. But Night God, I mean, theoretically, Heurix, the 3 DPS should be able to break a Rhine shield. It should have been easy for them.
Yeah, and that's why you saw Over actually make the swap eventually over to the Winston, because when they got caught with the Reinhardt, I'm sure that they felt very exposed, although then this didn't work out for the attacking side. Like Gaming, just not able to get the picks that they were looking for. Again, chip damage is simply not enough to get a point.
BLG up to 3-0. We will have the 4th map to see if Light Gaming cannot drop a goose egg. We'll see you soon. BLG up 3-0. They've taken the series, but now can Light Gaming take a map? It will be Dorado that decides that.
So we move out onto yet another map where could very well be decided by Widowmaker play. This is yet another map that BLG just has that kind of advantage in if they do want to go for this. Still something where we could see some dive comps. We could see the Orisa Hog combination as well, the 3-2-1. But I think really here BLG wants to play the Widowmaker into at least point B, I would imagine, with the Winston to accompany it. That is just such a solid comp for that stage of the map where they can just continue that momentum push that we've seen from them for the last 2 maps in a row.
Well, out the gates, we're seeing an Orisa halt hook, a Widowmaker over the top, and a Pharah that could be eating that snipe very early in the game. So it will be Shy who sports that Widow, so Night God has to be even more careful. You can see as to how he's just repositioning himself to break the shield, but also not die from a Widow.
That's going to be very important right now because they don't have the Widow v Widow matchup. Now, Night God and Heurix have to play pretty safe, especially when Heurix is taking shots in the open. He's not going to be able to shoot down the lane because Shy's going to try to deny that. Heurix ripped away from his team.
That's range! Are you serious? That guy's gross. As I said yesterday, yucky.
What?
BLG.
I think it was on this map too.
Oh, Winter. Stop. But Winter, it looks really good too. And he's taking angles, almost actually denied the res, and Yakumo punches Sentry in the face. So BLG in prime position to get point A.
Yeah, they should be able to claim the kills onto this back line. Huey's going to be falling yet again as BLG easily walking their way through this point A attack. And this has been kind of the story so far throughout this series, at least since we've gotten into some of these payload maps, or rather even the assault type as well, just getting away from control. It's just been all BLG all the time. And Light Gaming now swap over to the Widowmaker, try to get a better approach for that 1v1 against Shy, but still, you have to find a way to get your tanks in position, get everybody in position so that Huey's can even start taking those kinds of duels. Otherwise, Shy is going to continue to find those kills.
Speaking of taking someone down from the high ground, Unai got yoinked, and Winter yoinking that guy too. Looking for the Mercy, at least finding some safety, but Light Gaming are down by 2. So this is going to be a reposition. Coming back, the Orisa is super slow. Horsey legs can't run fast enough. That payload's going to get halfway. And now BLG have the high ground. This is terrifying.
BLG, they don't even have to swap. They can continue this momentum push. They can continue to basically bank on the supercharger from No Smite, who did swap in for Over. So yet again, another tank swap, and here it is.
That's a good sleep. 2 for 1. Do they get the finish? Winter gets out alive-ish. They tried. But unfortunately, BLG maybe could go for the res, and they do. Both Pharahs still alive. BLG using that whole hog to push themselves through, using bullets towards the end of point B. and the kills still come through, even though Light Gaming had maybe an advantage. They couldn't deny the res, and then they can't deny point B.
And yet again, going into the final point with over 5 minutes, this has been so consistent for BLG, and as a team that we're talking about as basically one of the competitors to go and have a finals berth, and they really want it this season. This is the kind of performance that we're looking for, especially knowing that 2-2 lock is coming. It's on its way, and BLG has been looking their best with 2-2-2.
There's a halt and hook. There we go. Good execution from Roshan, who's actually usually a main tank player, and he swapped that Orisa and Roadhog role. I actually just noticed that they swapped the Roadhog Orisa roles for Light Gaming. We'll see if this is a better look for them, and clearly they're trying to change something after 2 full holds, also trying to stay mentally composed.
And it's odd that they have made this swap because I mean, this signals to me that they're trying to get something else going. They haven't felt comfortable with their halt hook combos, and by swapping this up, straight to the high ground for Yuna, I guess.
Slept. Yeah, and I got one for Barrage. Good sleep reaction. There's a Winter. 2 for 1, but at least he slept, and also probably wants to say thank you, send a card over, because that kind of canceled the ult, kept himself safe, because that barraging can sometimes make you vulnerable. And now Winter's knocking at your door with rockets. Light Gaming trying to push through, but it's a speed run from BLG. The last few meters, can Light Gaming even touch? Roadhog actually gets hooked in to contest it one last time. Roshan with the whole hog. Sentry getting hooked. Can't heal anybody. BLG finished Dorado.
And I think the hardest thing now for BLG at this stage in the game is trying to pick an MVP for this match. I think that's the only hard thing left for them in this matchup. There's nothing left. I mean, they've basically walked through the last 3 maps, and now on defense, I wouldn't even be surprised to see yet another full hold. It wouldn't even be remotely surprising.
The adjustments are coming from Light Gaming. You know, the main tank, we talked about Unai, DPS player on the Roadhog, but they also have Light Gaming only have those 6 players. They did just add a DPS player named Dizzy. Again, I'm not sure how he's going to be incorporated into the roster. Light Gaming just haven't won a single fight on Dorado. And maybe this is the momentum BLG. It's just hard to stop momentum once you've given it to the other team. But Light Gaming, I don't know what to suggest anymore.
Yeah, it's so tough at this point because there are just so many things that are going so right for BLG. I mean, their tank synergy is just better than we've ever seen it from BLG, not even just this season, but even last season when we saw BLG starting things off pretty well for themselves initially. But this, I think, is like a new version. This is a new breed of BLG where their tank line looks great. Their DPS look better than they ever have. I mean, Shy and Winter looking so good in the 2-2-2. It feels like the 2-2-2 meta could actually be claimed by BLG if they could continue this level of performance and then continue practicing. Remember, this is going on before the 2-2-2 lock is put in place. So they're playing this of their own accord, and eventually teams will have to play to them. They'll have to play into what is now kind of the BLG meta if they can continue this.
So on the offense, it's at least the double sniper, the 2-2-2 that you mentioned. BLG with a Mei on the defense. So you can tell that their winning condition is going to be to try and close off that underpass using the Mei walls, try and separate people away from the rest, and also rely on Winter and Shy, get poke damage in, get the headshots, get those picks.
The Light Gaming getting this payload and through the archway, it's going to be so tough because now they have to deal with this Mei wall that's going to come up and split them. It's going to also kind of create a defensive play for BLG because No Smite, he's not going to be able to protect himself as well. It doesn't have the Diva alongside him or a Hog or anything like that. So really going to come down to Yakumo to help him out.
But the Mei is also not as vulnerable to the halt hooks because, as you just saw, Yakumo able to ice block himself and also,
he can also
create
block
walls.
hooks too.
Yeah, he can block hooks with the Mei wall. Once the Hulk comes up, we've seen a lot of teams incorporate the Mei as an additional shield. So now BLG still holding on to the payload, and they're not playing aggressive. Halt hook, though, could shut down the Orisa, and now this is horrible. Unless Mika could go for a resurrect, but the space cannot be made until Winter happened. 2 for 1. Night God is going to get that pick. Sentry able to bring Unai back, so the offense still have a shield. BLG do not.
Unai backing Yakumo off, and it seems like Light Gaming, they might just win this fight here, and this is probably the best look that we've seen from them, the best opportunity that we've seen Light Gaming have to be able to capture this first point. Something that they've struggled with, but now B612, he's down. Maybe they can get the res. Sentry, I can see him rotating over to that side, but I don't know if they have the res available.
Well, Dragon could seal off one of these doorways. It's actually towards the right. BLG trying to come up towards the left without no smite, without an Orisa shield. Actually, now he gets resurrected. Mika now having to use the Valkyrie for the group healing. Give them the resources they need to hold on, but Yakumo is going to have Blizzard, throws it on in. Unai, can the Nano help him survive? It's too much damage. He's cut off from the rest. BLG able to fight back as soon as they got that B612 pick at the beginning.
Yeah, and remember, that was their best look so far. So now they have to somehow find a way to at least match that and win another fight in order to capture this first point. In the meantime, the triple DPS for BLG getting back into position, working their way around and rotating. So now they have really good sight lines to work with again. Shy is going to be hard to deal with. Luckily, though, for Light Gaming, they have the infra sight to play off of, and they're going to need that so that they can catch Shy off on an angle by himself and force him to play more behind his teammates, where he's not going to be able to get those same shots off behind the shield.
Last minute of the game, Light Gaming just having such a much slower approach than BLG did. As now vision available for Shy. This is going to be dangerous for Huey's and Night God, who can now, at least Shy, will know where they are, get those picks, but they're staying behind the Orisa shield. But now, no shield for the defense. They're trying to scatter. But May, Yakubo frontlining for the rest of the team. Ice blocking, just trying to contest, but Night God is finding himself getting 2 and probably more picks, denying the res maybe? Can't deny the res, but will deny Mika's life, and that will be point A for Light Gaming.
Yeah, and Shy backing up. You're gonna see him dying off here. Coldest claims a kill, but he'll die for that one, but he's fine with that. I think BLG still taking some kills, not conceding anything if they can help it. But there it is, a point on the board here for Light Gaming, something that they've been struggling with all series long. Now we'll see what they can do here as they're moving into this second stage of the map. BLG still can claim that high ground control early and also play out these halt hook combos again.
Roshan! Okay, it's good. They didn't get a biotic off to deny that that healing. But BLG giving up a lot of space. Didn't have enough time to go into the high ground. There's the barrage. Winter above gets Unai, and if he trades his own life, that's still a huge pick. No shield now for either team, as a resurrect may be more available for the defense, and especially when Shy is getting picks, Mika goes for it. No smite is back. Shield placed right back onto the cart. Light Gaming have to probably soft reset.
Ooh, was that a little BM from Winter? He wasn't even going for the left click. He was just punching his way to victory. So now BLG, they are going to go ahead and stabilize here after losing that point A defense, but they still look as good as ever to be able to make a hold here, make a stop, and still putting that pressure down, chipping away at Unai, who is really struggling to stay alive. I mean, Light Gaming, they cannot keep him alive until finally Winter goes down here.
Someone has to kill Winter, but Roshan got hooked in. You don't have that dangerous halt hook combo no longer. Dragon separates the halt hook boys from the rest. That one gets dodged. BLG holding on. They have a supercharger now, so DPS advantage to them in a second. As Unai used his first, Night God does at least benefit from it, taking care of Coldest. Now no shield for BLG. This is a lot missing, and now they have to completely disengage. This is not resable. Having some bodies thrown on the cart to contest it, buy themselves a second chance to fight back on point B.
40 seconds remaining. That's all that's available for Light Gaming. They have both of their support ults coming up. The big one to watch is going to be the Nano Boost, who they want to give it to. Do they give it to Roshan so that he can try to see if he can get a one-shot or try to keep Unai alive on the payload? They need that sustain here, so that might be the option to go for.
Oh, he got slept hooked, but he's a nano boy staying alive, getting all the resources. You need him because the whole hog and the hooks are nasty. We had to turn the screen away because I was R-rated. Winter from behind now with the barrage, but it will be Light Gaming claiming point B. BLG give it up.
A much better attack so far for Light Gaming. I think they're looking a lot better with their halt hooks as well. So seems as though swapping up their main tank and flex, or off tank rather, has kind of worked out for them. Unai playing the Orisa, Roshan swapping over to the Hog. They have now claimed a couple of picks that have allowed them to get through. And maybe you have to wonder why Roshan didn't go for a hook there, but Unai dropping perhaps because of that.
Oh, Sentry! So, oh goodness, that was a risky res with no shield and nobody to help you. Yakumo breaks everything down that they had. The whole Hog sending them right back. And BLG stabilize in the last minute of the game. It's a great hook, and now you're staggering them even more.
So Light Gaming with not too much time left. We've seen them in this position before, right? But we'll have to see if this time they can go through yet again, make it a third time. But even if that's the case, you're talking about a massive time bank disadvantage where if you finish in overtime, BLG will have almost 5 minutes, whereas you'll only have 1, and that's if you can manage to cap. Right now you have one last-ditch effort to win basically 2 fights in a row against BLG, who have been lights out in all of these fights so far.
Rezable? Maybe? Oh, Sentry, no! Oh, no. Oh, no, no, baby boo. Like gaming, you had 13 seconds. Now you got no mercy. You got no Valk. 10 seconds. Maybe able to get back quick enough, but Yakumo's still doing this to you. How do you let the mans do this? And now you have Nano Roshan is going to take the Roadhog duel in his hands. Whole Hog sending him right back. Make it 2. Make it 3. Light Gaming still in this.
For now, they have the superchargers out for Unai, and now Roshan needs to get even more, but he slept. They could follow up on this, but they don't want to overextend here. They know, BLG, they know that they have to kind of fall back, get everybody back into position so that they have a good shot here. Coldest is down, so this is 5v6 disadvantage for them coming out of the respawn.
Unai, or Hewis needs to get this high ground. He needs to get an immediate pick, but the Orisa shield is going to deny that, trying to miss position. Someone, Shy gets denied. Light Gaming in overtime, up by a bunch. Yakumo kind of holding down the fortress with this whole Hog. Light Gaming can't give up this position. There's Winter. That's 1 pick for the defense. Looking for more. BLG have the closer respawns. Light Gaming at the moment giving that nano over to Roshan, who carried them this far. But now losing Night God, he has a far hop to go. Roshan can't die here either. It's still happening. B612 with 2. Mika goes for a res. BLG trying to stabilize the whole hog from Yakumo. Does exactly what Roshan did with the 2. Almost 3. Light Gaming have no one left. They almost did it, but the 4-0. BLG claim it.
And Night God, I think certainly there's going to be a little bit of a golf clap for him, at least, because we saw some great Doomfist play from him in this series. We saw it on King's Row. We also saw it followed up on here in the final phases, the final moments of the series on Dorado. But outside of that, still a struggle for them to close out.
We're going to bring back our expert analyst, Naori. Light Gaming, though, looks so much better on Dorado, and this Roshan swap definitely helped them.
It really did, and I was pretty impressed with that. I will say that for the first point, BLG running that Mei wasn't the best idea, and Light Gaming were really abusing the fact that they knew they didn't have to wait, or they knew that they didn't have to worry about the hook. They kind of baited out the Mei wall, and as soon as the wall was out of the way, they knew that they could get off their hold hook easy peasy. So that's kind of how they managed to get through first point. But in the streets phase, they couldn't really use that as an argument anymore. They looked so good. Roshan looks way better on this Roadhog than he does on the main tank. Something else to just kind of point out, I can't remember if we mentioned it, but of course Over was in the, he'd been substituted out, and we had no smite. And I think that they possibly looking at, for example, we saw Over was on King's Row, and they were like, okay, well, this is a map where we might see Reinhardt, so we'll have no smite. But on maps where it's like very Orisa heavy, maybe they were looking at having no smite instead. And I can see why. No smite's Orisa is fantastic, and he does synergize so well with Yakumo on that Roadhog. It was this last map was an absolute pleasure. It's the best that Light Gaming have looked so far. And yeah, I'm excited to see what they're going to bring, going forward. Obviously, this was a difficult matchup for them coming up against Bilibili. But if they can continue improving the way that they have, then yeah, they could be a contender.
I think the crazy thing, too, is that BLG, no matter who they put in, I think that that map basically goes the same way. I mean, BLG, they could have put in Over. I think it would have looked the same because, I mean, we've already talked about it. Yakumo just looks that good no matter what main tank he's playing with, whether it be No Smite or Over. And then if you put in Bazzi, you play him over Shy. I think, again, it just looks the same. So Bilibili, I think, really have that to them. I think that's a huge boon in their favor, where Yakumo plays well with everybody, and all of their DPS have extremely high skill ceilings, where this is one of those teams that everybody has to fear going into 2-2-2.
But also, we think we saw a brighter light from Light Gaming, haha. Huey's and Night God's double sniper on Dorado. I think we really saw Night God have several times where he took the fight for them. Did you see improvements, or do you think Light Gaming, Naori, should rely more on the double sniper? Did you think that's where they looked the best?
Absolutely. I also felt that Night God's Doomfist was pretty good. Yes, it was kind of a stall pick towards the end there, but he got some really clean kills off of that. So I'd actually like to see a little bit more of that. In the Pharah v Pharah matchup, Winter absolutely bodied him. Not just in the sky battle, but also in terms of shield break and focus. But if we see more of his Doomfist, maybe more of his Hanzo or Widow, then I think that we could see him shine a little bit brighter.
Yeah, I think that I would have fully agree with that. On the other side of the coin, I think BLG, it's tough to deal with, right? I mean, Light Game, you're talking about a team that was 0-4 in Land Story Cup. Then they go into this current season now playing a team that BLG, I think, again, the DPS alone trying to deal with this roster is a very, very, it's highly regarded. I mean, Shy, Winter coming into the season, they were already touted as some of the best players in this region, which is profound to think about because of how much talent is in this region, especially in this current season. So Light Gaming trying to deal with this as a relatively new team coming together, still a lot to deal with, just not able to come up with it this time around.
Still, Light Gaming did their best. I mean, they're going up against BLG, who lost in the semis to LG Huya, right? Like, this is a playoff team. Light Gaming acquired their spot. We really didn't know what to expect from them. So they will unfortunately drop the 4-0 to BLG, who will climb just higher and higher in the standings in their group. But we have more Overwatch around the corner, everybody. Speaking of LG Huya, they are coming around and facing Flag Gaming. It is first versus second place of that group. So do not go anywhere. We will be right back.